Hello, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me here live, still from San Francisco, where the Salesforce Analyst Summit just has finished. Sorry, Google Hangouts toolbar is still broken. This is Holger Mueller from, look at the logo, Constellation Research. Unforgiving lighting conditions. Want for you to see some of the beautiful skyline behind me. Yeah, and I'm actually should be holding up the laptop a little higher, then you can see more of the background, which is anyway more interesting than me. Salesforce had us out there here for almost 2 days, starting Tuesday. We have an interesting insight into culture, having the gentleman who's in charge of equality, the name escapes me right now, an unusual start, interesting food for thought, but let's not spend much time in going chronologically through the event, but let's talk about what my major takeaways from the event were, which is always the format of this very first hangout, and I'm a little rusty. Again, apologies for the Google Toolbox not working yet. Maybe we can shame them a little more in public here. That's not working well, which reminds me to check the audio. The audio is good. So what are my 3 takeaways here? The interesting thing from my perspective is the platform focus, right? We had a great Q&A today with Parker Harris, one of the Salesforce founders, talking about how it was application, platform, application, and how Salesforce has been oscillating between the two, but it's always been an application. And the focus, had a chance to speak with Adam Seligman, the gentleman in charge of the App Cloud. The focus is not the generic path anymore, which I was at least making out a few years ago on the Salesforce side, but really is around all things customer. And the main news there on that platform perspective, which was built historically, Parker Harris said correctly today, there was no infrastructure as a service, no IaaS around when Salesforce started, that's correct, is that pieces of that are moving. We know that since AWS reInvent in November last year to AWS. Not just the piece which are running there already in the marketing cloud and some of the acquisitions, but also the core services. Important clarification from Parker Harris today, still running on Oracle, so we're not talking about a complete replatforming in that sense, but important advantages from a commercial perspective, like the many vendors who have picked a public IaaS to run as their platform. I personally think, in the back of a napkin calculation, if Salesforce could switch, which of course is not realistic, could switch right away everything to public IaaS, they may be a profitable company in the sense of traditional bookkeeping. Some of the long-term criticism on Salesforce anyway, that they're not really making money if you apply the traditional, and I'm not the financial analyst, traditional bookkeeping perspectives on this. So Montreal, all eyes on Montreal next year. That's where AWS opened the instance, and Salesforce will be running Salesforce for probably net new customers in Canada who also have data residency and requirements. This is the other benefit, apart from having lower CapEx or more CapEx to spend on product, which Salesforce has to do. Over, I think, 4 billion was shared in 2016 acquisitions, which have to be brought together and all brought together in one platform. And it means answers to data residency, data privacy issues, and your multiple locations being on standard IaaS is pretty much best practice for software as a service vendor today. On the platform itself, there's a lot of talk, a little bit of confusion also around meta-tenancy, new word, we all know multi-tenancy, basically clarified to build composable, secure enterprise apps. That's what the gentleman said. So breaking the monolith of the different areas that Salesforce has into consumable pieces. Many of us attending also said, why are you not getting into API as a service, into gateways, into registries? It might have been too early for the Salesforce executive to comment on that or to commit to that. I think that's where it ultimately will end up to, but the right direction, making services more consumable for developers. And it was always good to hear from a Salesforce perspective, the admins, which play an important role in the overall Salesforce ecosystem to make things run and work there smoothly. By the way, I'm holding my laptop up here for the sake of the view, which might create a little shaky audience here. Third takeaway is focus on platform reach and putting things into the platform to get a better reach. It was largely under NDA, but you can think I was not so positive on the Einstein announcement, because basically globbered together all the things which were there already in kind of like predictive analytics, pseudo AI things at the Dreamforce timeframe. Now there's a more clearer platform vision, putting things around artificial intelligence in the platform and adding these capabilities, which makes me more optimistic that Salesforce is really up to something of value for their customers in this area, and not just a quick marketing gimmick. But we'll see that in 2017. Overall, my point of view, significantly better insights than in the Salesforce plans than when we got as analysts in Dreamforce. I've been at 4 Dreamforce so far, so I learned much more about Salesforce, their plans and where they're going, so a highly useful event. I'm more optimistic on Einstein, as I said before. There's really an interesting idea behind it. We can't talk about in public yet, but we'll get more clear during 2017. But a lot to deliver. I mentioned all the acquisitions. Things have to come together. Good news on the public cloud IaaS of AWS Cloud in Montreal, better return of R&D, and good to see also the focus on the developer experience for best practices in the sense of not just making the developer better, but as we talked about in the early session on Tuesday, there's uncertainty how business should be run, how best practices function. Today at the beginning of the 21st century, as computing can do more than what business best practices demand. So that's an interesting aspect which can only be solved by a pass, and my arm is getting tired. So it's good to see that Salesforce has a strong platform vision from that perspective. So thanks for watching. Again, sorry, this is Holger Mueller from Constellation Research. Google Hangouts doesn't work. Shame on them for that. Hopefully they fix it soon. Thanks for watching. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.